Hey guys, Ross here, welcome back to the channel. Following a similar suit from yesterday, this is the second half of the PvP tips to help you improve. So if you're a new player looking for some decent tips, or you're a good player looking for maybe some stuff you don't know, you're definitely in the right place. Now, before we get into the ins and outs of the video, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do. Helps me out massively. Anyway, guys, we're going to get straight into this. 5 more tips to help you get better at PvP on Arena Breakout. Let's go. Right guys, tip number 1 for this video, by the way, is featuring global early access of me sniping on Northridge, if anyone's curious as to what I'm doing in the background of this video. Now, don't hang about is the tip. Don't stay in an area too long after winning a PvP confrontation. Say you kill someone or you kill a full squad and stuff like that, and you're like, get the hell in, I've got all this loot to myself now. It's not always the best thing to wait. You know, the best thing to do is to go straight to loot and then spend the next 10 minutes making sure you get every single bit of valuable fitted in your backpack and their backpacks and etc. and all the best guns and stuff. You want to get what you can and then hightail it out of there, right? Noise will attract other players and snipers, especially snipers. I do it all the time. You want to keep your new loot. You don't want to give it to someone else. So people will try and third party you insanely. You know, they'll hear it and they'll just run at you. And you don't want to be caught looting. I've been killed looting loads of times. Dip's being caught looting and killed, because when you're on the loot screen you can't see anything, you can only hear. So if there's someone like approaching you from the front, maybe it's a bit too far for you to hear on your headphones, and they do see you and they start shooting, you're not going to have time to react. So like I say, don't stay in an area too long, don't hang about, just get your loot and leave, and then, you know, go somewhere else or extract. Right guys, tip number 2 comes hand in hand with tip number 1, which is to secure the area. Now what I mean by this is, after you kill someone, don't just run at their corpse, get their stuff as fast as possible. If you're in a small room, you know what I mean, you're in the middle of a motel or something, and there's no possible way anyone could see you where you are, by all means, loot. But if you're in a nice open area, like Northridge or Valley and stuff like that, right, like I say in the last tip, people are going to try and third party you, so it's best to secure the area entirely before you go ahead and loot. Now, by secure the area, I mean literally check every single open area in every direction to see if anyone's coming. Check sniper spots, you've got valley cliffs, etc. Check these places for people waiting to headshot you when you go to loot. And, pardon me, you just want to make sure you're looting safe, essentially. You can drop a smoke on the loot area if you want. I've done that a couple of times, but it does make it hard to find the body that you're trying to search unless you know exactly where it is. But even that doesn't help you with people's aim assist, but whatever. So all I'm saying is, make sure you secure your area thoroughly. If you're a bit iffy, you think, you know, you heard some gunshots in another direction, someone might come over, I would just wait a little bit before you loot and see if someone else comes into the area and tries to take your loot, and then you can take them out. It's a win-win situation to just be a bit more patient, check the area, wait around a bit and see what happens. Right guys, do you know them little explosive devices you can carry into battles with you? They're called grenades, right? I don't know how many times I've killed someone who's been stuck in a corner, or they've got a bit of a more position on me, I've been stuck in a corner, they've pushed us and died to my superior firepower, whatever, and they've got a stack full of grenades in their rig or their backpack, right? This tip number 3, is use your damn grenades, right? Like I say, it's easy enough to flush someone out with a grenade. If they're stuck in cover and they're not moving and you have to push them and you think you're going to die, throw a grenade at them, throw a Molotov at them, throw an impact, throw a smoke and they might think it's a grenade and move. You can flush people out. You can change positions safely if you throw a grenade and right as it blows up you move and they don't hear you move, and then they still think you're over here but now you're over there and you've got a better angle on them. I've being killed by grenades loads of times through windows. People run around with, you know, rigs full of just grenades. That's different. I mean in proper firefights with sort of decent players, grenades are invaluable. So get used to throwing them, get used to not killing yourself with them, because I've seen loads of people do that as well, and just generally take ones that you find useful. I usually take 2 grenades, like explosive grenades. I'll take a smoke grenade and I'll take a Molotov into a battle with us. Unless I'm sniping, then I don't really bother with grenades at all, but you know what I mean. You can reposition, you can kill people behind cover, and you can flush people out, and they're very, very useful. You should start using them a lot more if you're not already. Right guys, tip number 4 is knowing your gear. Now, by this, I don't mean knowing what they're called, what the gun's called, what attachments you've got on, etc. Obviously that comes into it, but by know your gear, I mean, have some sort of rough idea of what tier armor you've got on at all times, what tier bullets you're using, the range of your guns, stuff like this. What sort of punishment can you take from another player? If a player rolls along with tier 6 ammo, is he going to one-shot you? If you see someone in tier 6, you know, you're thinking, can I really take him on with my tier 1 ammo? This is what you've got to constantly think about. You have to know your own gear and know your own limits, so that, like for instance, this match you're seeing in the background, I'm a long-range build here. I'm using a long-range sniper rifle and I don't have a close-range gun. So it wouldn't make sense for me to then go into the resort or go into observation deck where things are going to be a bit more close-range and I'm going to get, you know, a higher difficulty from potentially other players or even the scavs in the area. So knowing your own limits, you know, and you can plan ahead accordingly, So if you're going in to snipe people, make sure you're just sniping people. Don't then think, you know, I've just killed that guy inside the resort, I'll just wander in and loot him. It might work, it might end in tears, and you might lose your really expensive sniper rifle. Similarly, if you've got an MP5 and someone is sniping from quite far away, it's pointless returning fire with your MP5 because the range is just not there and he's going to take you out first. So, like I say, just bear in mind what you've got on, what the limits of what you've got on. If you're going in full stacked tier 6, you might be able to take a bit more punishment than if you're just going in with tier 3, and you know what I mean. You get the picture. So plan ahead and just make sure you know exactly what you're in for, and just stick to your plan. That's all I can say on that matter. Right, last tip of this video, guys, tip number 5 is to utilise the firing range. Now, if you're not familiar with how to use the firing range, if you go to prepare for ops in the bottom right, and it comes up the screen with your PMC and your scav on, in the bottom left there's a little crosshair, that's how you get to the training range, and you practice with any gun you have on you, like equipped, or you can swap to any gun that's in your warehouse, and it's got unlimited ammo, so don't worry about that, so you can practice to your heart's content. Now, the reason I tell you to use the firing range, and this is very important, is because you get used to shooting, and obviously that makes more sense, you know, it's a firing range, you're going to be firing, you're going to get used to it, but if you look in these videos that I'm doing from the global, I haven't set my sensitivity, I've just left it, you know, borderline default, and I don't like it like this, but I can't be bothered to sit and set it and set it and set it, knowing that it's going to wipe into closed beta test 2, and there's barely any players running around because I don't really need it set properly, and I can't be bothered to sit and work it out. But on the CN server, I have got it set, and in closed beta test 2 I will. Now, the reason for this is you need to get used to aiming while stationary and moving. When it comes to PvP, you're either going to be holding a position or you're going to be pushing someone, and you're going to be constantly on the move while shooting different directions, etc. If you can't turn around at one full 180 in one little swipe of your thumb, or, you know, swipe of your finger, whichever way you play, you're going to struggle quite a lot in confrontations. So you need to make sure that you've got everything set. You need to learn the recoil of weapons that you choose to use so that you're prepared when you need to use it. You need to learn the ranges. You need to learn, you know, how much kick it's got if you only fire a burst as opposed to full auto, so that when you go into a battle and you find someone who's got a bit more, you know, expensive gear than you and you really want it and stuff, you're not just going to end up shooting the sky or shooting the floor because you don't know the gun you're using. And I would also suggest you don't practice with guns you're not going to use, so I wouldn't go practice with a shotgun or a ER if what I'm going to use is an MP5. If I'm going to use an MP5 for a game, I will practice with the MP5 because that's what I'm using. So you can practice stuff like headshots, or if you're going to go for the leg, you can practice leg shots, or you can just practice tracking while you're moving, while you're sidestepping. Obviously, a moving target is harder to hit than a standstill targets. So, like I say, guys, last tip of the day, you know, utilise the training range. It's there for a reason. You can just go in at any time you want and fire to your heart's content. I do it quite a lot off stream and stuff just to make sure my aiming's on point. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it more if you'd hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you are still here at this part of the video, that means you do enjoy my videos, so you should really subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Now, I'm going to be doing a lot of tip videos in the lead up to closed beta test 2, because obviously I'm by myself. There is other content creators, but most of the ones that are bothered about the game don't want to play with us, and the ones that aren't just wanted a spot, and I don't know, I just not really enjoying playing with them ones, I'll be honest with you. So I'm waiting for my boys to come early February, and then I'll be doing some more gameplays, hopefully killing some content creators, chasing them down, etc. So make sure you do subscribe for that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.